Hi, I'm Duke.
And I'm Lola.
And this is Bossanova Life.
And we are coming to you with another installment in our Get to Know series. And we are getting to know
Big Toe himself, the king of tiki art, a.k.a. Tom Laura. How you doing, Tom?
I'm good, you guys. It's great to see you.
I know we got the intro right in one try.
Well, we didn't say we get to know Tiki is the only thing.
That's
You
all
cut
right.
me off. Okay, we'll keep going. We'll be fine. It's fine.
That's the best part of all this. And we've done all the things. I got my Big Toe mug ready to go with the Dark and Stormy in it.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yep,
on this
and it's
beautiful
sitting on a Big Toe. There
coaster.
We are.
Yeah.
Coaster.
Oh, the stone coasters. Those things are cool.
I know.
Yeah, they are cool. In
You
fact,
said that you're coming out with a new set like next week.
The new set is going to drop any day now, depending on when you go live. With this, they might already be available in my Etsy shop.
Already be available to you.
I might need them. And my sister-in-law came to our tiki bar, and she loved these ones so much that I told her next time I was at an event, I would pick her up some. But if I'm ordering myself some, I might have to order her some too.
Why wouldn't you?
I know.
So you are the king of one of our favorite art pieces of tiki, which is Ruby's Dilemma, which the minute I saw it, I'm like, that is Lola and me. Wait a second. That is Lola and I. I'm the big fat tiki guy sitting there getting inebriated, and she's still paying. I'm being like, hey, baby.
I wouldn't say fat, but I would say lecherous.
I'm definitely lecherous.
Yeah, there's a lecherous quality.
Yeah, I mean, that painting, for me, sort of distills the id of tiki. You know, this sort of uninhibited intermingling of people at a tiki bar.
I love it. And I love that she is very much more of like a pinup or rockabilly type. So I'm looking over on screen.
We have our pictures over
right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't fit like what you would normally see in just a traditional tiki picture, and that's what's amazing about it.
So is that your best-selling art piece?
Over my whole career, yes. Currently, there's some things that are performing better now, but it's such a well-recognized piece from Frankie's. So if people are able to leave Frankie's with any cognitive reasoning skills,
which is rare at Frankie's,
usually they have a fond memory of that one. You know, I should mention that is the gal in the painting was a pinup model back when I started. Her name was Ruby DeVore, and that's why it's called Ruby's Dilemma. And she's a makeup rep in Southern California now.
Oh, wow.
But still just as beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I like the
but those are her genes.
The ladies just get hotter as they get older. What can I say?
Yeah.
Somehow Lola's put up with me for 25 years. I don't know.
Wow. That's a long time to hang by your thumbs, Lola.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Tom. So you're coming to us live from your abode in Southern California.
Yep.
And you sent us some video of that, which we'll cut away to later. Video of the inside of your home, discussing some of the art pieces and all of that. But let's get started with, where did you come from, Tom? Where were you born, and what got you in the tiki?
Okay, well, I was born in Eagle Rock, California, Southern California, and grew up on the beaches of Los Angeles and Orange County. A typical summer weekend would be my parents hauling all the kids. There were 6 kids, so throwing all the kids in the station wagon, and we would go down to
Was it a Woody station wagon?
Yeah, Country Squire.
Nice.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, those. I mean, I would die to get one of those, late '60s wood panel station wagons now. But we would go down to Crystal Cove and Laguna Beach, and meet a few families there. And the kids would all build sandcastles and ride waves. And the older kids and our parents would snorkel off the beach and go shoot fish and pry abalones off the rocks, and then they'd build a big bonfire, and we'd have this huge meal on the beach.
You're making me hungry right now.
So yeah, it was a
Sounds
pretty
like her childhood, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
idyllic childhood, you know. And you know, we didn't. My parents are both educators, so we didn't. We weren't well off, but you know, we had a rich beach life experience, if you will. So growing up there, and also, you know, we would take a lot of trips to different places around Southern California to go for walks. And one of the places we went frequently was Venice.
Okay.
And so I was exposed to the skateboard scene in the, you know, late 60s, early 70s. And so that's when that whole scene was emerging. There was the kids surfing at Pacific Ocean Pier.
So were you a skater yourself or just a surfer?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Were you a skater yourself or just a surfer?
Yeah. I started, my first skateboard had clay wheels.
What?
And, for most of the time I was skating, it was the downhill and drainage pipe riding.
Was it those like almost like oval shaped plastic boards, or were you going?
Yeah, well, I had fiber. So my first boards were wood, and then I had a fiberglass board, and then the board I had for the longest were Logan Earth skis.
Okay.
Which was the first, like, it was exactly the way you described it. It was that sort of surfboard shape, and it was it had a kicktail, and they were developed for riding pools. So we'd have our Bennett trucks and OJ wheels, later Road Riders, the clear red plastic ones. But those the Venice Dogtown boys were our heroes, and you know, then also the surfers. You know, I was mostly a surfer, and so you know, riding waves or skateboarding was just when we couldn't get anybody to take us to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that whole scene that you got to grow up and be a part of. And so many people, it's an idyllic scene, and so many people think of that as just like the perfect way to grow up.
So,
but
what were you into back then? Were you like a Jan and Dean kind of guy, or what were you doing?
My earliest memories of music were, you know, just pop rock, and then in high school I got into metal, and then got punk. I didn't discover punk rock music until college, which is weird.
It seems like punk is always the gateway to Tiki.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, exactly. I remember my first college party where I was up in a bedroom, you know, doing shots, and somebody put on London Calling by the Clash. And that was a paradigm shift. And, you know, from there, from that I discovered ska and rockabilly and funk and just everything on that first Clash record. It was real eye-opening. And, you know, from there we went to, you know, not just the English Beat and the Specials and those bands, but also
the English Beat and the Special. Sorry, I'm loving that. Sorry.
Yeah, but then we also from that discovered the Stray Cats and Gene Vincent and all the rockabilly. So
yeah,
that was great. And then, you know, of course, the Sex Pistols and the Damned and the punk rock. But getting back to the beach, tikis were ubiquitous. What we didn't know was that there had been this huge tiki phenomenon in the 50s and early 60s that the veterans had brought back from the Pacific Islands in World War II. And, you know, they had all built their little basement bars and backyard bars.
Mm-hmm.
to sort of take them back to that escapism and that, experience.
Trying to get their wives at home to wear some grass skirts.
Yeah, totally. So by the late 70s, tiki wasn't in fashion, but there were all the remnants. The apartment buildings still had the tikis out front, and we would see the tiki mugs in the thrift stores, and so the stuff was all there. We just sort of had to discover it on our own. And
I took it for granted at that point, just like it is what it is.
Yeah, that was just, it was everywhere. So we didn't realize that it was a cool, counterculture kind of thing. And in fact, some of the artists that I know that are a little older think of tiki as stupid establishment art, because they were rebelling against that, sort of uptight cocktail culture with their marijuana and their acid. So it's kind of funny that it's come full circle to be, kind of.
It's funny to see the people who were listening to the Jefferson Airplane back in the day suddenly going, "Hey, tiki's cool."
Yeah, you see pictures of them with their long hair and. But
why not bull? Why not bull?
Yeah. That's the other thing that I discovered in the 80s was that there was crossover. My dad was a hot rodder in the 50s, and so I kind of had a little bit of understanding of that. And then, I was a big fan of Ed Roth and Von Dutch and Robert Williams and Von Franco and those rockabilly artists. But those guys also, like Von Franco was in a surf band, and Ed Roth did, like the surf bank. So there was.
So this actually leads into a question I was going to get to later, but let's go for it. Which is, it appears to me as I'm not an artist. I mean, I took some classes in college, you know what I mean, but that there is some Rat Fink influences on you.
On me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm one of Ed Roth's many bastard children.
Okay, well, like I said, that was just from looking at him, like there's definitely like some serious overtones.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Ruby's Dilemma, you can see the influence with the I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't plastic wrap, but the bug eyes and the just goofy demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely a big influence. But getting back to tiki, when I my first job out of college was I art directed surf companies.
Okay.
And part of that experience was traveling to the South Pacific for different kinds of functions. And we used to go down to Tahiti and Fiji and Samoa.
So we're like more jealous of you than we already were.
So you're an artist by trade.
Yeah.
And because sometimes people get into that maybe they are in a totally different career, but.
It's interesting you say that, Lola, because I was an art director, so I wasn't doing a lot of artwork, and I certainly wasn't doing any painting, which is what I trained for in school.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an art director, I was a full-time art manager, so I would just direct these brilliant artists that worked for me in creating these graphics for these various surf companies. And, doing brand development for some of the big surf brands, and so
part of the creative process, but not necessarily the creator.
Yeah. There was definitely a void, but going down to Tahiti and seeing the stone tikis, and then going to Samoa and seeing their interpretation of art with the tapa cloth and the tikis on every Hawaiian island that are a little bit different. Things are a little bit different on Kauai than on Oahu. And then, you go to the Big Island and that's where for me the love of tiki really blossomed. There's an ancient heiau, which is they call the place of refuge, and there's tons of tikis all over it, and they're mostly images of Kukailimoku, or which was commonly known as Ku, who's like a warrior protection god.
The one with the spear.
Yeah. So, then when I finished, when I was sort of moving into art again, I, was thinking about what I wanted to do to sort of start painting again, and tiki and surf and hot rods was kind of my natural wheelhouse. And right when I started painting, I bumped into an old college friend named Holden Westland. And Holden owns a little company called Tiki Farm.
Oh, a little company.
A little company.
A little. Yeah. He does a few things.
He does a few.
Community.
Just
the hardest freaking man. So he, this was about 2007, and so he got me into. He's like, I ran into him at I think it was a Rick Griffin retrospective art exhibit in Laguna, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing? I told him I was, doing these different things, and he's like, well, you should design tiki mugs for me. So that kind of pushed me into that community, which I wasn't really aware of.
So your first foray in the tiki was in the mug scene.
Well, I had been painting tikis. I had been doing tikis. One of the companies that I worked with was called Maui and Sons, and they since it was a sort of Hawaiian-oriented company, we did a lot of tikis for the apparel graphics and different things that we did for them. So, but yeah, I had been doing tiki art, but doing the mugs allowed me to be introduced to the people in the community, which I didn't realize there was a resurgence of the music and the art and the cocktail culture and meetups and events back then. Don the Beachcombers was called Sam's Seafood, but I had been going to like Kelbo's in Hollywood and the Tiki Tea. I knew that there were tiki bars. I just didn't know there was a dedicated social scene.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a lot better about us getting in. We felt the same way when we got into it. We're like, there's a scene here?
Yeah.
We thought we were the weirdos.
We thought it was just the aesthetic, and we loved it, and then didn't realize that there are other people like us.
Yeah, it was probably about 2010, 2011 that we started getting into it, and we were like, wait, there's a whole thing here? What is this?
Yeah. And I thought I had made some discovery that there was an obvious link between tiki and surf and custom culture.
Oh yeah,
rockabilly music, because there was kind of a schism between the two cultures in the 70s. But to me, it kind of felt like they were the last sort of vestiges of Southern California outlaw culture, because surfers and hot rodders were both, degenerates when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we still are.
We just make it better.
Now those degenerates, though, are like middle income and can purchase things, so no longer degenerates.
We're not degenerates. We're just degenerates with a little bit more money.
Once you get purchasing power, society then considers you an asset.
That's right.
Exactly.
I've got a Dark and Stormy in a really big mug right now. So.
Yeah, I'm doing a Pimm's cup because I do like a little bit of an alcoholic drink during the day on the weekends, but Pimm's is less alcohol, so.
Oh yeah, that sounds
refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, this is kind of one of my favorites because lots of fruit, ginger beer, so it's refreshing.
We went and we went to a high rockabilly in Spain like 2 years ago, and on the way we stopped in London for like 5 days. And we went through the market, and they were like, hey, you want a Pimm's cup? And I'm like, I love gin. So I'm like, let's do this. And then she had it, and now we're all about it.
Yeah, now I have them as
Oh, nice.
So, how are things going today with Big Toe Art and all of that? You've got your website, you're doing mugs, you're doing art, all of that. What is the spectrum, I guess?
You know, it's been interesting. I've got, I think, 10 tiki mugs in development.
Wow.
But everything is sort of everything's slow. China's just back online.
Yeah.
So I've got, I think, 4 mugs coming from Tiki Farm. Actually, 5 now because I just put another one online from a bar a couple days ago. But so
I'm trying to see. This is Tiki Farm. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't know it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's Tiki Farm.
We're gonna put this right there.
I've got.
I had to buy it simply because it was the largest tiki mug I'd ever seen.
I know it's stupid big. I guess the good thing about it is you can put a double in it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you were showing me another one that day that was even bigger than this one, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. This one's.
But yeah, so I've got a couple mugs coming from China, and then from a couple different mug makers, and then Mulder, John Mulder at Ecom Bookham has one that's, or actually 3. There's one that was is supposed to be dropping any day to now for a bar in Anaheim, my hometown, called Strongwater. And then there's a couple of mugs that I've got developed, and I'm trying to find a domestic producer for. Hoping not to have to come overseas, but
Are you still doing a lot of artwork, or what's your biggest seller?
I still do a lot of painting. Because of the sort of mug drought. This was I could show you. This is my last self-produced mug.
Yeah,
so cute.
And that was Mulder. But while there was this sort of mug drought, I started developing glassware.
Ooh.
We love.
By the way, we're way in the glassware
Yeah.
more than the mugs.
So
I like to see my drink, so I like the glassware.
Oh, that was scurvy. What does it say?
gorgeous.
Scurvy what?
Scurvy Knave.
Nice.
And I designed this to sort of commemorate my go-to cocktail when I get home, which is sort of it's like a fast and easy Navy grog.
Okay.
Okay.
So because because there was no it's not a real cocktail, so I just made it a real cocktail.
Well, tell us what it
It's
is.
real if you're drinking it.
We're gonna try it.
I can. We can discuss I can tell you the recipe real quick if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
We can put it up on the screen if you don't mind sharing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm stoked.
Tiki people love recipes.
So I I've been sort of changing around the rums because the go-to at first was Denizen Dark and then Plantation 5-year.
Yeah.
But now I'm using Plantation Jamaica, which is a pot still. So I think is that the one you just pulled out? Is that the Denizen 8-year?
No, I got the Plantation Original Dark. I thought I had the 5-year. I think I finished it off last night.
I think you did too.
So I also intersperse the Denizen's Dark with the Plantation Dark. They have sort of different characteristics, but are both delicious. So 1.5 ounces of the 2 rums.
Okay.
And then the juice of a half a lime, which is about 3/4 of an ounce. And then 1/2 ounce of pimento dram.
Okay.
The one I use is Hamilton, which is delightful. If you don't have pimento dram, allspice dram, you could also use bitters, a couple of bitters. And then 3 ounces of plain wrap grapefruit soda.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
See, because
So
my favorite is actually just like a LaCroix grapefruit or like a Polar Water grapefruit is also another shortcut that I do a lot of times on drinks.
What brand
there you go.
soda do you use?
So you can get Squirt.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I guess there's a Jamaican grapefruit soda too that's big in the cocktail world. But I've taste tested all of them, and the one that I like the best is just, for me, it's Albertson's plain wrap.
Okay. No, I honestly, there's a brand that
Well, they got to
pick
get
up.
it from somebody. I bet it's from one of the better places.
I get a ginger beer from Walmart that's actually really good. I like to have it on hand. I mean, it's not. We do like cock and bull and stuff too, but it's amazing. You can find some good
That's
stuff
what I'm
out
using
there.
for my dark and stormy right now. Is cock and bull.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We
that's
like
good
cock
stuff.
and bull. But
I love dark and stormies.
Yeah. Well, that sounds really good. We will definitely put up the flash up the recipe. If we have questions, we might ask you for some clarity. But
just flash blend, shake it good. It's it's important to get a lot of good mix it up real good, and then I'll also get the a little bit of water mixed in with it. With the is it oxygenating? I don't know exactly what like 20 seconds of blending does, but
yeah,
give it to make everything blossom a little better.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
gotta shake it.
I picked up a weird rum today. At least weird for me. I'd never had it before. It's Dr. Byrd Jamaican Rum.
Oh geez, yeah.
Okay,
so
they
one
just
that
got it in here.
Now, the one that I'm using now is Zamaca, which is also a pot
I know that one.
But that's not that's like a beginner pot still. The Dr. Byrd is like advanced.
Oh,
I haven't.
When I saw it, I just I like the name of it. I got to buy this.
It's the real expert rum aficionados swear by Dr. Byrd. I just haven't. My palate isn't as sophisticated enough. Or maybe I just haven't tried my taste buds yet.
I'm super enamored with Plantation. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I love Plantation.
Well, being from the Pacific Northwest, Plantation is like massively huge up here.
Yeah.
No, Plantation is, as a overall line for me, Plantation, is the cream of the crop. Although I'm having a love affair with Denizen. They have a 8-year-old Maker's Reserve. That's the rum that Martin Kate developed with them. That
oh wow.
That's what they use in the Smuggler's Cove Mai Tai.
Oh.
And that's the two main Denizen rums are favorites as well.
So where do you? I know we're kind of in the midst of craziness right now, but where do you see Big Toe going in the next couple years?
It's interesting. I still have a day job, or had a day job until I was furloughed. So I've been focusing on the painting and the merchandise. Well, I've got this staycation, if you will, and so it's been really gratifying and humbling to see how much support there is for everything I've been putting out. I just released a few of my the mugs I designed for Max's South Seas Hideaway in Grand Rapids, and
I've heard of this one. Yeah,
they all sold immediately, and my glassware sold out immediately, and all of the art that I've been posting has found home. So God bless people. All of my artist friends seem to be repeating the same thing, that people want to beautify the space that they're spending a lot of time in.
If they're stuck at home, they're going to buy even more tiki
we're
stuff.
finding the same thing, and we're normally super busy this time of year, and now we're not.
Yeah,
so,
we're losing our
house.
minds too. We had the
we're
most
shopping more.
We literally had the most events lined up.
But we want people to be safe, and so we're hoping that we can just keep talking about the scene, keeping it fresh in people's minds, giving them something to watch. And
it's not about us. I say to say, we were excited about that part of it, but I'm sad to see the scene take essentially a baseball bat to the knees, for the year. And I'm just hoping that, because the scene is very much driven by events where people get to network with each other and hang out and do things. And I'm hoping that despite that it keeps growing, because it's a fragile thing.
that is an interesting thought that, you know, the burlesque scene and the rockabilly scene and the tiki scene have so much crossover, but there isn't an umbrella. So I'm glad that you guys offer that sort of glimpse into all three of those.
That was our whole thing is like that. We always throw out that atomic logo at the beginning of our videos that has the 6 things. It's rockabilly, classic cars, tiki, burlesque, mid-century modern, and pinup.
Oh,
there we are.
Yeah.
So the idea of synergy between those cultures is awesome. You know, tiki has, well, we had Tiki Central, and now there's all the Facebook groups. And yeah, so it's cool to have something that sort of is because there's so many of us that go to all the different events.
Yeah. And those are your friends and your family. And so it's great to know you're going to see them at those events. But if there's a way to kind of relive that throughout the year and
I love it when we've got like Patreon supporters that are like, hey, I love the classic cars and I love the rockabilly. I don't get the tiki, but I'm trying. And now, like 2 years later, those people are like bought tickets to TikiCon. They're ready to go. Because they're watching our, you know, we're slowly. And that's the whole thing I'm trying to bring. And then my tiki friends are like, I'm just not really in the rockabilly and the classic cars. I'm like, oh, you will be. Let me pull you over.
Or at least appreciate. I mean, you know, it's not for everybody, but you can appreciate, especially if you like things that are from that era.
Yeah, if you like that late 50s, early 60s aesthetic, that was it Charles Finks called it the futurism, that excitement of like things are happening. You're gonna get into all of that eventually.
Yeah. I've noticed in the past like 9 years that I've been vending at Viva Las Vegas, that there's a definite the tiki aspect of what I do has been taking over in terms of popularity, and it may just be because I have mugs and the painting at Frankie's that people make that connection and respond to that part of what I do. But you know, like I had a hot rod art show scheduled for this month, you know, which obviously isn't going to happen, but you know, I'm still trying to, and I probably would have had some crossover in that show, some tiki hot rods, but it's you know, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket, you know.
Yeah. And you shared with us before that you said Viva Las Vegas, actually you did more business at Viva Las Vegas than any other event in the year.
Well, that was my best one-day show.
Yeah.
When I was doing the car show. This year was going to be my first year upstairs with the grown-ups in the
with Doug Horn and all those boys.
They let you in with the grown-ups.
Stepped up.
But, you know, unfortunately, I guess I'll have to wait till next year.
So the amount of tiki vendors, I mean, it's mere speculation, but I would guess it's like 20% of the 300 plus vendors are easily tiki.
I don't know if it's even that much, but unless there's some crossover
There's a lot of
stuff.
tiki vendors.
Yeah. Or at least they have some sort of
tiki or like a tiki spin to them one way or the other. And even like some of the regular vendors who are just selling whatever will still have like used tiki mugs in like a whole section, or they'll have tiki, like it's always like a part of so many booths where they'll still have the tiki, a nod to tiki.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Doug Horn's product assortment has changed over the years, because he was originally more sort of just straight rockabilly art at those events, and he's always done classic horror.
Yeah.
And so he's always had that. But he's a seminal artist of the tiki scene too. So he's always had that, but it seems like it's become more of a prominent.
I would say last year, I think like 70% of his art, at least from my looks, seemed to be like straight tiki or at least nautical in tone.
Yeah.
And some piratey stuff too.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
So he's definitely moving to more tiki, even at that show.
I still remember when we ran into him at the Golden Tiki like 5 or 6 years ago. We were going around interviewing people at the Golden Tiki with our cameras, And I'm like, walk up to this gentleman and his wife. I'm like, how are you guys doing tonight? What's your name? He's like, my name's Doug. This is my wife. And all of a sudden I went, wait, Doug Horn? It took me like a second. Had a great night. Hung out with him, had drinks. Super nice guy.
Yeah, he's very kind and unassuming for the genius artist that he is.
Well, hanging out with the two of you has always been a pleasure.
Yes,
so.
yeah. I was gonna say you
two together
funny
are
and
like
fun
the
and
dynamic duo. Yeah,
it's wonderful. We have a great time. I want to ask a question because we are going to show your tiki bar, and that's since we haven't seen that yet. Do you have anything you want to share about your home tiki bar to us right now?
It's not. There's not a lot to it. It's just the flotsam and jetsam I've picked up over a life of traveling. So, I've got work clubs from trips to Samoa and Fiji, and tikis from Tahiti and Tapa Cloth, and
so I love the idea. Well, I love that your tiki bar is basically just kind of like your travel book. Like other people have pictures.
It's a tiki space.
Yes, tiki.
Yeah, it's a tiki space.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, my actual tiki bar is a little cart in the kitchen. But yeah,
whatever gets it done.
It is most of my traveling has been to the South Pacific. I've taken a lot of surf trips to Mexico and work trips to Europe, but for whatever reason there wasn't an emotional connection to those places. Even though I'm Italian, there wasn't an emotional connection to those places for me the way there has been in the South Pacific.
Yeah. That's kind of how we like to travel anyways, is like we do like to get into a place and kind of immerse ourselves. But if we can experience a bunch of different things, and that's fantastic. So
and it's kind of the same going to Tahiti or Samoa as well, where if you go to American Samoa, it feels not that different from going to Sayulita, for example. It's a small town, but it's more what you're used to. Whereas if you go to Apia, which is Western Samoa, that's like going to Hawaii 50 years ago. That's
really?
So you're driving down the road and you see these birds up above your head, and then you take another look and you realize they're flying foxes, giant fruit bats with like a 4-foot, and there's a whole flock of them, which is, mind blowing. Or there's pigs running down the road. It's crazy. And Tahiti's the same way. If you go to Papeete, it's a town, and then if you go out to Bora Bora or Raiatea or some of the outer islands, then you get more of that no phone service or hot water sort of experience.
Yeah. I'm up for it. I'm up for all that.
I didn't realize
she prefers the mermaid hair don't care look.
Yeah, I do. I love.
She gets all dressed up for the shows, but when it's not the show, she's like she teaches yoga 6 days a week.
There is definitely a bit of a hippie child. Yeah, but we're not really the all-inclusive resort people. We like to get in.
On.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
Tom, thank you so much for giving us your time today. We appreciate it.
Sure, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's just fun to get to know you a little bit better, and hopefully in the near future we will be doing this over a cocktail face-to-face. So.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on.
Okay, here's a quick tour of the Big Toe Hobbit House studio. There's my little hobbit, my little tiki shrine. Some of my favorite mugs. Some of the shells I picked up in the South Pacific and stuff. Here's a hawksbill turtle that my mom shot in the late 40s in the Seychelles Islands. One of my favorite things is this tiki crazy owl palm frond. Nice work light there. Sorry. A couple other paintings. The one in the center is called The Legend of Laka. 2.5 by 4, I think. That one's a homage to Ned Kelly, the Australian outlaw. Some projects in progress on the shelves there. There's a painting of Greg Knoll. Here's a painting by Matt Byrd. Mischief Motu. Where's my calendar? There's a Work Club from Samoa. Some of my mugs. Sorry, there's a big glaring light above, so the light's a little funky. And some of my mug collection. And my painting of Deborah, a print of my painting of Deborah Harry with her signature. There's a little shot of the kitchen with some of my art from some of my friends. This is where the magic happens, folks. Oh geez. There's my messy bulletin board with some mugs that I'm working on. And another messy project board. And this is the way I do paintings. My scary, messy process. We took pictures of Miss Agave. Travis took the pictures, and this is a commission for a talented bass player named Christian. And of course I store all my brushes in tiki mugs. So that's where it happens, folks.
Well,
Right on, you
you
guys. Well,
so
thank
much.
you so much. It's fun to invite you into my home and
Yeah.
chat.
I appreciate it. When I sent you the invite, I wasn't sure if you're going to be like, yeah, let's do this. And you said, hell yeah. And I'm all like, it's on.
Yeah, we love that. Love it. And
Well, I love your neck of the woods and hope to get up there to visit as soon as the world opens and get back to your tiki bars and Kontiki. And
if you get it through our state, you have an open invitation to come to our tiki bar.
Tubing like a bossa nova, put those videos up and get them those likes. They're living that bossa nova, antiquing so that they can show ya